Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Beantown Boxing Banter and Bullshit. Myself, Big Shamrock, coming through with my co-host AJ Rivera. As always, every Wednesday night, we're bringing you guys a little bit of boxing chat. As always, we thank Emily's Interiors, Platt's Landscaping, and guys, we got a good one tonight. World champ Jose Rivera on with us. Pops, known to AJ. We got Bobby Harris III on. Phenomenal boxing analyst. The chatter that went on the other night with the Worcester News Journal was phenomenal. The Worcester Sports Journal, I'm sorry. But big shout to them. Big shout to these guys. We'll have a good one again tonight for you guys. Thanks for tuning in. All right, guys, like I was just telling you, I got my team here. We got three-time world champ Jose Antonio Rivera up in my left. We got his offspring. His career is not done. AJ Rivera in the house again. My brother. And Bobby Harris III, man, we're going to keep you out of these things because you're too good of a boxing analyst, man. You got like your chat the other night with the Worcester Sports Journal was awesome. I love your insight.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
We got to keep you hungry in that ring, man. We got to get you off this point. Plus, I don't want you taking our job, so we did. So, all right, let's get to it. Jose, tell us about the experience down there with Jo. Sporting the Jo gear right now. But tell us what were the trials and tribulations down there for you guys?
So basically, obviously coming from the fight prior to last fight, where I felt he got robbed and stuff like that, ended up with a draw, so there were some great things that we saw that night. And then we wanted he's stepping up again for the NABF title and last weekend. So this past weekend. And it was, just kind of see how he responds to that coming off of a really tough fight. And a lot of guys get a little shook, you know what I'm saying? So this is kind of the perfect test for him to see, how he responds and what kind of caliber fighter he's made of and stuff like that. And man, he made us proud, man. Made us proud. He came up, stepped it up big. To me, he dominated the fight, 9 out of 10 rounds. I only gave the guy the first round because it was a close round, and I talked to him about it. And none of them were really, really active. And the guy, threw a couple jabs. I said, you know what? Just to play it even, play the devil's advocate when giving the first round. And then Jermaine just started stepping it up. And there's levels to this, as we know. And once Jermaine brought it to another level, the guy couldn't match him, And Jermaine just showed that he's an elite level fighter. And he's going to be a problem to deal with coming up, for all these fighters. They have to start paying attention,
I did notice you're confident in that future world champion tag on him. I like that. I saw that in the post.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah,
for me.
No doubt.
We got everyone's opinion on Monday, Pop. I want to hear your opinion. Who's next? If you were his promoter, his manager, if you were Jermaine, who would you be gunning for next?
Well, he called out that Rolly fight. I would love to see that fight.
I said the same thing on Monday.
Me personally, it's me personally, not his, not the camps, not the direction they're gonna go in. Just me personally, I would like to see him move up to 140. He's gonna be a dominant fighter at that weight class. Doesn't have to work as hard, suffer as hard to make 135. And it's just gonna be so you see how good he is, the performance you saw. You're gonna see better. He's ever gonna be, throw more punches, be more faster, be stronger. Just a better Jimmy Tees.
Talk about your experience, right? Your last fight at 47 against Collazo, and then your first fight at 154 against Garcia. How much of a difference mentally and physically did you feel?
Huge difference. Only because it took me an hour to lose a half a pound in the Collazo fight. When I was making 147, I was 1% body fat.
That's crazy.
An hour to lose a half a pound.
That's crazy.
and so it's draining. It's draining, and what the people don't know is draining on the mental aspect because you just want to be 100%, and it takes a toll on your body and stuff like that. So I rehydrated and I was good to go for the fight, and I gave 100%, but I thought I would have been able to give a better performance if I had been not having to suffer so much to make 147. And then I knew win, lose, or draw, regardless of what happened after that fight, I was moving up to 154 because I was going to move up to 154 before that fight, but they begged me to stay at 147 for one more fight. And then my first fight at junior middleweight, I was able to, just be dominant. I fought again live on Showtime, my main event, the next fight, and I dropped Garcia 5 times in the fight. In that fight, I was never had to catch my second win, and I just it just felt great, and that to me is the type of performance that I feel fighters want to be able to have every single time. And I know it's hard to do every single fight, but the more you give yourself the opportunity to do that, do it, and so don't shortchange yourself. I understand that trying to make weight into a lower weight class will make you feel like the bigger and stronger fighter, but if it's going to make you weaker, then and you're not going to be 100%, then you're kind of defeating the purpose.
There comes a point in time where when you're young, your young body allows you to make that weight. And then as you get your grown man body, you're actually your goal is to be the bigger, stronger guy at that weight class, but you broke your body down so much that when you got to that weight class, you actually aren't the bigger, stronger guy anymore. Your body, you're probably like 60% of yourself because you just, and the difference, and I used the Collazo fight and the Garcia fight with my dad because my dad was there. He was in Collazo's face. He was there. He seemed like he could just never pull the trigger. Like he didn't just have that, the correct me if I'm wrong, maybe the energy or the reflexes to just go after the openings when you saw them.
I mean, I saw the openings, and not to take credit away from Collazo because he was a slick southpaw as well. So he was a good mover and stuff like that. But it's almost like when you feel like you have a monkey on your back, you have something holding you back, and it's like you're not as crisp as you like to be, and as reactive and stuff like that. But I just gave 100% of what I had that night,
It's a phenomenal fight, by the way, though.
Thank you.
It was a phenomenal fight.
I still thought I won.
Okay, I believe AJ called Collazo out a couple weeks ago.
AJ's calling everybody out a couple weeks ago. This guy really wants you to fight AJ, huh?
I'm gonna put my body through this abuse again. I'm gonna go for the one fight that's gonna get me a bag and it's gonna make sense and it's gonna draw some fans. Son seeks revenge for father. Son seeks revenge for father. Let's go. Let's get it rocking. If Camacho Jr. could fight Chavez Sr., then why not?
That was an exhibition. All
right, we can exhibition it.
All right, that's fine. Exhibition. I will approve an exhibition. Other than that, just leave Collazo alone. You know what I'm saying?
So also too, what we want to talk about too is the child abuse. AJ posted a few weeks ago that you gave him CTE in the ring. Remember that?
Oh yeah, that video. Yeah, he saw my Thursday video.
Now you got to show tough love, but I mean,
listen.
His mind is crisp. So
he
saw
fine.
the video. There's no denying it.
Yeah,
He's fine.
He
got a little fresh. I just had a little pop to kind of remind him that don't get fresh. That's it. That's all it was. You know what I'm saying?
Phenomenal, man.
There was another time. There wasn't a video. This one. There was another time where he was getting a little fresh. He was getting a little fresh too. I think we were at Camp Get Right. He was getting a little fresh too, and I make sure I hit him with a nice body punch. Just let him know, don't get too cute.
Oh yeah.
Hey, you notice my breathing changed real quick because it's PTSD. I remember it.
I saw it.
I remember it because we've sparred enough that, he touches me where I feel it. But there's been a few times where, like he says, whether it's get cute, get fresh, whatever, where he gave me one to remember. Where years later I think about them and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Yep. No thanks.
My breathing. I gotta take my sweater off now. I'm hot.
Well,
So I wanted to so we mentioned Jermaine. Locally, out of all the young stable of guys, for any new viewers watching and stuff like that, what would both we can go Bobby's opinion and your opinion. Who else? Because the last few podcasts we mentioned Jermaine. So locally, who are some guys that these local people should be paying attention to?
Well, I'll start with one of our guests right now, with Bobby Harris Jr. You know, they got to pay attention to him. You know, they got to pay attention to Hightower, a cruiserweight. He's going to get some problems in that division. We still got Irvin Gonzalez in the mix. You know, I think that kid has too much talent to ignore. You know, I just hope he can get himself on the track and not get away from injuries and get back in the gym and stuff like that and stay focused. Because I hope he realizes that the time is running out and is now or never. Give it 100% and realize your dreams. You know, because
freak of nature.
Yeah,
he's like 5'10", 126.
Yeah, this is amazing. He can fight at 130. He can fight 135. You know, he can just keep moving. But as of right now, he's 126. And then we got Kendrick Ball. We can't forget about Kendrick Ball. So we got quite a few guys in there who are really, really making a name for themselves. I think right now.
Kyrie just got done winning his New England championship.
Kyrie is still in the mix, you know. But Kyrie, I consider Kyrie a veteran. He's established, you know. He's in there. He's been in there with ring veterans, and he's established. You know, the guys that I mentioned are up and coming. You know, like yourself, you know, and Hightower and Kendrick Ball. You know, and Kendrick Ball is almost like in the middle.
He's getting to that level,
up and coming and veteran. So right now he's got to start establishing himself as well, and kind of. We had a conversation. We talked. I had him in my house, and he knows how I feel. He knows what he needs to do. So I'm not worried about him.
I think there's a lot of old veterans right now that these guys should be taking advantage of. Like I saw recently, Sergio Martinez came out of retirement and won. He won, 48 years old. I mean, Sergio Martinez is still Sergio Martinez. That's a name that you cannot ignore. So that's somebody perfect, at least in my eyes, for Pep. Sergio Martinez.
But is Sergio Martinez a super middleweight?
And Pep's a super middleweight.
No, is he a super middleweight? I thought he was a middleweight.
He fights at 160. He fights at 160. But
yeah,
he's had fights, I believe, at 68. So I mean, for the right bag, I'll cut off my left leg to make that weight. Danny Garcia is moving up to 154, so I think that's a perfect fight for Kyrie. These old veterans to kind of take advantage of, you know.
I wouldn't say Danny Garcia's on the way out though. You know, that'll be a dangerous fight for Kyrie. He better be on his A game for a 154 Garcia. Just because he's a veteran. He's experienced. He's a veteran. He's experienced.
But I think Danny Garcia's heyday was at 140. He did well enough to stay in the mix at 47, but I just think he's way too small for 54. I don't think he will. And
I agree with you, but I don't know that just because he's small at 54, you know, he's just gonna, you know, just lose every fight out.
No, that's a fight you gotta 100% dedicate.
Gotta be 100%.
Experience can win you some fights, but and then for on Irvin's side in that lower weight class, you got Nonito Donaire, who's still fighting. You know, so I think that'd be a good veteran fight to get yourself in the mix or get a nice payday.
Speaking of veterans, I get to see my man Rhinell Griffin again this week. I told AJ last week I never want to see him fight again. It's like 2 weeks later, and I'm watching it again. The guy you fought, I believe.
What is he now? Like 7 and 56?
I think he just hit 50 losses, so he's going to continue. I mean, credit him to get in the ring, but he don't even look like he wants to win when he gets in there. You know what I mean? At least act. He was smiling the whole time, like I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's at the point. He used to genuinely be a durable opponent, but I think he's at the point now where I'm getting paid regardless. It's a payday. I'm 750.
Yeah.
Late
Yeah,
30s.
no, he looks like he's enjoying himself. He was smiling the whole time at the end of the fight, whatever. But I don't know. I get it. It's his job. It's his job. But we got TG coming up.
You got TG as well. He's not local no more though. Actually fighting this weekend.
I can't call him local. I can't.
He's out of Florida now, but he represents Worcester still, you know.
Yeah.
So we definitely got to support him. He's fighting this weekend out in Framingham.
Yep, I'll be there.
Yeah,
I'll be there next to my man Bob. Good old Bob Trigger, dude. He's a riot. I actually, he committed to coming on the show, but it's tough to lock him down. He's had some things going on.
He's a busy man.
We usually talk about training. We ask fighters, current fighters, how training. You're not training, this is not for you. It's for Bobby. Bobby, how's training? How's things coming along? How you been feeling? How's your weight?
Training's been good. I've been recently starting to do switch it up a little bit more than just going to the gym and do what I've been doing for so long: shadow box, hit the bag, jump rope, speed bag. Now I feel like my body has been getting so used to that for so long. I'm giving my body like different treatments now on how to lose weight and how to get stronger, a little bit more strength and conditioning work, a little bit more on my toes, a little bit more getting push-ups and things of that sort, a little bit of the sledgehammer. And it also keeps me more motivated to hit the gym, like, the same heavy bag, same shadow box, the same, it keeps things different. So it keeps me, more excited to hit the gym. And plus the hands get worn down hitting the heavy bag a lot.
For me, was that like the elbows taking some punishment. What if you had your choice? What would be your next step?
My next step?
Yeah, in terms of your career, what if you had it your way? What would be your next step?
Right now, my mindset is to just stay in the gym, take it easy, stay in weight, and have my one fight at a time. I take one guy at a time. Whoever comes my way, I'm just trying to win. And build up my resume. Win, win, win. That's all I want to do. And I know at the end of the day, I'll get the opportunity within those wins to showcase my skills, showcase where I feel like I should be, and I should be getting those phone calls somewhere down the line. So my mindset right now is to just keep winning, enjoy my life, my family, and just keep winning.
Who was your most difficult opponent, amateur and pro?
We got the questions today, huh? Most difficult opponent. I would honestly, I have to give respect to almost every fight I kind of fought, besides like my first 3 fights, probably as an amateur, there was a hill to always get over. There was never an easy, I was never like, all right, I took this guy out clean. It was always, there was always, where Jose was talking about, there's levels where a guy steps it up in front of you and you take it to a next level, and the guy takes it to his next level, and you got to beat his level. Every fight, I feel like I've had to go through that. So, but a good fighter I've had fought before, I would have to give a shout out to Elvis Figueroa. Elvis Figueroa is a great fighter. He really is a good fighter. Every time we fought about 3 or 4 times, and every time I seen that my name was lined up with his, he gave me that little bit more of a push, a little bit more of an edge. He brought that drive out of me when we fought. I feel like everybody who used to see us fight and watch us fight, like we brought it every time, because he kind of brought the best out of me.
Now, who would you say as a pro?
As a professional, I feel like all my professional fights I made very hard on myself. It wasn't really the opponent. It was really myself, because after every professional fight, I only have 5, but after every fight, I kind of look back and say things would have went so much easier if you just was yourself a little bit more. And I think now I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with being a professional, not just in the ring, but outside the ring as well. Jose can relate. Just the nerves having not a lot of people understand the nerves that you have in the back in the locker room, and getting your hands wrapped, getting the gloves on, warming up, and the anticipation of the fight. I'm getting more relaxed and more comfortable with those feelings, more comfortable with walking to the ring, more comfortable with the announcer calling your name, hearing your fans call you out, and you should have having your body on the line in front of everybody and love. I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with that. So I'm just excited for my next fight to every fight is a test. And I'm just trying to pass every test that comes my way.
What about you, Pop? Amateur
What's up?
and pro.
Amateur.
Someone that you could think of. Most difficult opponent as an amateur, most difficult opponent as a pro.
Well, in the amateurs, got some great fighters in the amateurs. I would say difficult opponent in the amateurs. I'm gonna give it to Fred Kitt because he beat me twice in the amateurs at the Holyoke Western Mass Golden Gloves. And then I qualified. I went through the back door to qualify for the New England Golden Gloves. And then we made it both to the finals there. And he beat me again there. And then in the pros, I would say my toughest fight in the pros, I would say it would have to be probably have to be that callouts fight, that 12-round draw, back and forth, all out, stuff like that. I would also say the Pat Coleman fight was a tough fight too, back and forth as well. But the callouts fight has a little edge because it's a world championship fight.
How would you rate that Frankie Randall fight? Would that be one of your top?
That was definitely a tough fight. One of my gutsy, keep moving forward performances because I had the early rounds, and then his veteran status kicked in, his level stepped up, and he started dominating the middle rounds. And then I had to step it up a level and take over the later rounds until I stopped him in the 9th round. But I was defending my NABA title at the time. And he brought out a better in me, brought out a better performance in me, which helped me when I fought in Germany for my WBA world title.
You've done this at every level, amateur, regional, world championship level. My question is for the young fighters, how much would you stress training camps? I know that you've been able to be fortunate enough to be with Vernon Forrest in training camp and Pernell Whitaker in training camp, Roy Jones Jr. in training camp. Off the top of my head, those are the ones that I remember. You can name more if you have more. How important was that for your career? And what advice would you give the young fighters to make sure they go to training camps?
I think training camps are important because you learn a lot, and you're able to focus just on boxing. And obviously, if you're serious about it, and that's what you go for, because a lot of times the fighters go to training camps and they get caught up in all the experience of outside of the training camps, and I've been to California and I've been to Texas and Arizona and all these training camps, and I was always at training camp, hotel, training, and get up in the morning, training, hotel, training, so for me, it wasn't about, go out and have fun and stuff like that. And I get it. We got to live life and stuff like that. But that's when you're training for a fight, what I'm saying? But if you're going for the experience and to add yourself, then I say, yes.
Take full advantage of it, for sure.
Absolutely take advantage of it, because obviously you may never get that opportunity again. So there's different times, but different training camps is good because you get to see different styles, you get to spar different fighters, you get to, step it up to levels, and a lot of these young fighters, are afraid to spar because they look at it as a match instead of an experience. You know what I'm saying?
I was just about to say that.
Not every sparring match is gonna be you're winning a fight. You know what I'm saying? There's no trophies to this. It's you becoming a better fighter, you learning, you getting that experience. So as much as you can spar different styles and different fighters, even fighters that are better than you, get in there, put yourself out there to believe in yourself and work harder to get better. You know, it's only gonna help you. It's only gonna help the fighter out. You know.
Were you 2-0 when you sparred with the Hall of Fame Pernell Whitaker?
I was 1-0.
Please talk about that sparring. I would love to. I want to hear about that sparring.
Man, that's one of the highlights of my career. You know, is when I got to go to, and let me tell you why I got to go to Texas. I got to go to Texas. The only reason why they accepted me to go to Texas was because Carlos Garcia talked me up because Lou Duva's team was interested in your dad, Bobby Harris, and he was out there sparring with Tua and some of the other heavyweights up there, and Pernell Whitaker was getting ready for the Julio Cesar Chavez fight. So this was a little more like a fun training camp for him before he gets serious to his other training camp for the he closed out training camp for the Chavez fight, and so they were me and another welterweight they were looking at to work with him and stuff like that. He worked with us. He was an ultimate professional. But there was one sparring I remember one day that we were getting there. So he was working with us 3 rounds apiece, and the other kid would go first, and then I would go, or I would go first. The other kid come in, and he would switch it up, and then this day the other kid went first, and then after his 3 rounds I came in, and then after the 3rd round, I know it was the 3rd round, I went all out. I just wanted to showcase. I know my couple days are nearing before they got to start making a decision. They're going to pick me. They're going to pick with the other fighter. I'm not too sure if main event's going to give me an opportunity. So after the bell rung, I went up, give him dabs, stuff like that. And as I was walking to my corner, Duva looks over to Ronnie Shields, who was working my corner, and he says, "One more round. I want one more round." So apparently he wasn't too happy how I finished that round with me. So he wanted that round. So Ronnie looked at me and goes, "Are you okay with one more round?" I said, "Absolutely." I said, "I don't care if he beats my ass. How am I gonna say no to sparring from that Whitaker?" I said, "Yeah, let's go. Let's go." And let me tell you.
Was there ever a time?
Well, let me tell you this.
Go ahead.
He didn't, this last round, he didn't do it to like try to abuse me or, pound me or anything like that. He did it just to show that he's 2 levels above me. You know what I'm saying? Because the stuff that he was doing in that 4th round, which now is his 7th round, my 4th round. We already did 3 rounds before that. So now he's just warming up. And I was just, he was there, but not there. He was circles, like, it was just like, I was just laughing, At one point he did a combination. He grabbed my head like that, put his hand behind him and then went around. And I just, what could you do? It's like, I already do. Okay, I get you.
That's great.
But so great experience. Then he took me out for a couple of drinks afterwards.
That is phenomenal.
That's dope. You about to ask a question, Bobby?
He kind of already answered it. I was gonna ask if there was ever a time where you was like, okay, this guy is everything that they say he is.
Oh, and then some.
Nice.
Then some. The levels, like I tell you, that you can't help but pick up things from that. When you sparring and you see these fighters do things and stuff like that, like, oh shit, okay, oh, they just sidestep, and I picked up some of that stuff, and I wasn't even a southpaw, but I acclimated some of his stuff that he used, and I was able to use it real well when I would hit the combination, weave, and then pivot, and then come strong. Matter of fact, I did it in the Randall fight, and I did it in the Bobby Heath fight. A lot, those a lot of the stuff that I picked up from the Whitaker training camp.
Did you pick up a lot of stuff from the Roy training camp?
Not Roy is a different animal. So obviously I didn't spar with Roy Jones. I sparred with some of the other fighters that were there. But that's just a talent that is just amazing. But one of the things I learned about Roy is, and I learned this, not you obviously you can tell, but if you're a boxer which have a great talent and you work hard, then you become a great fighter. You know, you become at that elite level. You know, if you're like I consider myself a average talented fighter, and I worked hard and I was able to become a world champion. But when you're a talented fighter and you work hard, then you separate yourself from that champion level. You become
that's the
elite
example
status.
I used with Jermaine.
There you go. So Jermaine is an example of that. That his dedication is insane. You know, and but Roy Jones was the ultimate professional. Like Bobby was saying, how about being a professional inside the gym, but also outside the gym? You know, he respected his body. He's not out there in the clubs. He's not out there drinking. He's not out there wasting his body. He was all about business, and he was rewarded for it. And every fighter who takes it serious will be rewarded for it if they just took care of the body, and they take the boxing as a profession, be a professional about it and work hard, then the result is always going to be a positive result.
So midway through the show, we usually do this. Let's get messy midway. So for you, usually there's two answers. So like for Bobby, it's two answers. But for you, because you're an old timer, and I would just want to hear it. For you, there's four answers.
Damn.
Yeah, for you, because you're an old timer. So
no pressure, right?
No pressure. So here it is. At your prime, who's somebody that you wish you fought locally, that whether it be you felt like that would have helped your career or you just didn't like the person, and who's somebody that you wish you fought at the national level, whether it be you just didn't like them or whether you felt it would help your career at your prime and during your prime years?
So during my prime years, I got to fight my local adversary. We were adversaries in the amateurs and we were adversaries in the pros. And then I got to fight him. And actually that fight helped boost my career a little bit. It was when I fought KP Diggs in his hometown in the Cape Cod High in his Melody Tap. So he was like and we're great friends. Guy's a great guy. He's actually a state rep for Cape Cod right now. But he, in my amateur career, in the pro career locally, he was like the only really competition that I had. He was a IBO world champion. I was IBO world champion. We were both state champions. Everything we were like similar, climbing at the same time. And then he got his big break on TV. And then we just kind of up there. And then we both hit losses. And we were coming back from that losses. And so it was like a crossroads fight for the both of us. And we finally met in the Melody Tent. And so that was the pro one. Did you say the amateur one? Or I don't remember the question.
No, I was saying local.
Oh, in the national level. So in the national level, I really wish that I got the opportunity to fight Oscar De La Hoya. And it was never that I wished that I hated the guy or anything like that, because I would have nothing but respect for his talent and the fighter he was. But I just felt like it would help me in my career, boost my career. I always, when you're a world champion, then you want the big names because
you want to fight the best, and you want to be the best.
That's it.
Exactly.
That's it. So that's what it's always all about.
That's what they were saying. It was the best. So you wanted to come and get
right.
Do you ever wish that Mayorga fight would have happened?
Oh hell yeah!
I do.
Absolutely.
I do big time.
I would have had
a great fight.
I would have had Mayorga for breakfast that day.
Yeah. No, all jokes aside, I remember. So I grew up obviously in the gym watching my dad, and I had a room in his gym. It was that serious in terms of being in the gym with him. And I just remember guys like Sean Fitzgerald, Rashad Minor, Big Bobby Harris, Chico, all these guys being in the gym and just being and the side chatter. Because nobody ever wanted to because when my dad was focused, you couldn't talk. Only his trainer talked to my dad. Even Rashad bit me one time for bothering my dad during a training session. Straight up bit me. shut up, go to the room, like, but I remember all the like the energy for that training camp was just different. Like his like the vision and his like my dad was a scary guy for that fight. Like almost like this is different. And I remember hearing the side chatter, like this will always stick with me because I was probably about like 10 or 11 when that Mayorga fight was supposed to happen, maybe 12. And I just remember hearing the guys like, yo, this dude is scary right now. Like we've never seen Jose like this. Like we've never like, so I actually like really wish that fight would have happened. So then part of the 4-part question, right? So now the same question gets asked to you in a right now standpoint.
So right now, who I would fight locally and who would I fight?
Yes.
Locally, right now, like who's
That's a
a
banger,
fighter?
AJ. That's a banger of a question. Locally, this could happen.
Locally, who's a? So I'm a middleweight now, right? I'm a middleweight now. So who's a middleweight in New England that's kind of like coming up, or is established, or is a
Could be whoever you want. Who you got? It could be anyone. It could be anyone. Middleweight, super middleweight, light heavyweight.
But actually, I think he's middleweight. He's an up and coming kid, 12, maybe 12-0 or something like that right now. But so like if I was fighting right now, I would want that fight. I would take that fight because I would want to prove that, this young buck can't be in the ring with me. And the kid is sensational. So I'm not taking it away from him. But he asked a question. So right now, I would say in my weight class at 160, the guy would probably give me the best fight right now would be that kid Francis Hogan.
Oh boy.
Yeah, right. I mean, am I right? The kid is sitting at home, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Nothing but respect for that kid either, you know what I'm saying?
That kid's a beast. That kid's a beast.
He is.
He was stopping.
Right?
I remember. It's funny because I remember Carlos when he said that he knew you were ready for the pros was when you went on this, which is unheard of in the amateurs. You're not really stopping people, but like you went on like a knockout streak in the amateurs, and like I remember what caught my eye because I had never heard of Francis Hogan until then was like in the amateurs, this kid just was like Francis Hogan, first round stoppage, second round stoppage, like he was just stopping guys in the amateurs, and I always felt like he had more of a pro style than an amateur style. Like I always felt he was going to be a better pro than amateur because when you get to the national level, you get the guys who kind of pity pat and just and they kind of know the point system.
You could tell his style and his demeanor and his fight talent that the kid is going to go far. So you got to watch that kid. He's going to do something special and for himself.
He fights long. He's got a long reach, and he got that.
He actually fought the guy that you fought there on your comeback, Larry Smith.
Yeah, I saw the fight. I was there for that.
I think he stopped in like the 4th or 5th round.
Fourth, fifth round. Yeah, he stopped on the 4th, 5th round. Yeah.
So now nationally, right now,
worldwide, nationally, 160. It would have to be De La Hoya. Don't change that.
We're not letting that one go.
Why am I gonna pick? I would either pick. I'll tell you who I pick. I would either pick De La Hoya 160 or I'll pick Golovkin at 168.
Triple
Golovkin
G
still fights 160.
Triple G. Nah, he's moving up to 168. I heard.
Yeah, he's only gonna move up to 168 to get the big bag against Canelo. For that, you might as well fight Canelo.
Canelo. I mean, how am I gonna fight a world championship fight now? I gotta earn that. You know what I'm saying?
All right, Bobby, your turn. Locally, we need a name locally, and we need a name nationally.
No pressure, Bobby. No pressure.
No. I got nobody. I got nobody for locally. Like locally,
nobody that you feel will get you over that hump. Nobody that will let people know, like, all right, I'm here. This is my division.
I would if I can interrupt, right? If I'm gonna and I want to speak for Bob. I'm gonna want to speak for Bobby, but I'm gonna say what would make sense, right? Is it's almost similar to my situation with Kippy Diggs is his rivalry with Elvis Figueroa would be the same rivalry in the pros. I'm gonna assume, right?
Wow.
Yeah, I think right now where I do disagree. So like, you know how you would say you and Kippy were like same wins, and then you guys were both coming off the loss because Bobby had that 2.5-year layoff. Elvis is already, I think, like 9-10-0.
No, but what I'm saying is, you say locally, there's a guy,
Yeah,
the weight
locally
class guy,
who.
the guy who's
So
gonna.
I would actually.
I'm
for
not
me,
saying fight him for his next. I'm not saying fight him for his
Yeah.
next fight. I'm just saying who would,
Yeah.
you know, not being.
For me, Logan, if I had a that I think would be a good one would be because he's back now. I know he's still amateur.
Wait.
He's an official turned pro.
What weight
Is,
class are you talking about?
68.
You would fight at 68?
Well, I mean, until Bobby goes down to 60 or 54, that's different.
Oh, you're talking about
I'm not
for
talking
Bobby.
about me. I'm not talking about
Oh,
me.
okay. I was
Bobby.
that's okay.
I'm saying he's back.
okay.
He's back now. He's not officially pro, but I mean, I believe if he turned pro, would be a Teo.
Oh, that's another one. Yeah, but he's going for the Olympic trials. He's going for the Olympic trials and Olympics. So he ain't gonna be pro anytime soon. I'm saying, hopefully Bobby is 10-0 by then.
So if you can't think of anyone locally, Bobby, you got to think of somebody. There's got to be somebody that you're like, yo.
My focus is that like I said before, I'm gonna keep trying to focus on myself, keep trying to focus on winning my fights, and eventually those guys will come my way because they're going the same direction I'm trying to get to. So eventually, I'm gonna have to start moving some people out the way. So when my time comes to move those people out the way, that time will come. Everybody will have their time.
If I had to take a guess nationally for that question I asked you nationally, because I know you're not too impressed with him, especially because you've seen him in the amateurs, you see him now as a pro. If I had to take a guess for the national guy that you would want, well, is it safe to say you would pick Edgar Berlanga?
That's that. I mean, I take that fight tomorrow if they ask me to take that fight. That's
There
the
you
man
go.
right there.
That answered the question right there.
Yeah, Berlanga, he got everything. He got everything. He got everything that I need in the boxing world. So if they give me the opportunity to take that from him, I come right away.
What was it in the
That's
amateurs
going from level here to level to the top. He got everything going for him.
What was it in the amateurs that you saw that you weren't really too impressed with when it came to him?
Well, number one, when we fought in the qualifiers for the Olympic trials, he had to, if he was to win his fight, we would have ended up fighting because I won my first fight and I believe he lost his, and then the bracket signed up that we would have ended up fighting. So I'm sitting there watching who I might fight next. And he ends up getting dropped in that fight and losing by knockout, I think. So, and he's a great professional. He has a lot of great success as a professional right now. He has also lost against some guys in the amateurs that I have beaten. So I know styles make fights, but that definitely does something to my confidence where he's only human. He doesn't have that wow factor for me. Like where it's like I've seen anything out of the ordinary, and I believe in my skills very much, and to bring out a victory if me and him were to ever fight. If me, I feel like me and my best self versus me and his best self, I will not lose.
Love it.
You got any questions for them, Mike?
Look, I got a ton. I'm Denzel Whitley this weekend, Jose.
Good fighter.
He's looking good.
Fighter.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean,
The whole
fighter.
family.
They got a good card this weekend. They
Got
got Castro. They
Yep.
got Whitley. It's gonna be a good card. I hope they do well this weekend.
They got that dude Kevin Lucky Lewis in his pro
Yes.
debut this week too. He had the other guy didn't make weight last time or something. We kind of, I don't know, but boy, he's doing is incredible too. He's touring the world, hitting every gym there is, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
After that fight, he was in Ireland a week later after that fight training.
No shade towards the opponent that he's fighting. look out for the guy that Bobby fought at the Palladium this
I
weekend.
saw that. Yeah, that guy's.
Because I've seen two versions of the guy. I've seen the guy not in shape, and then I've seen the guy in shape. I've seen him against Kendrick Ball in shape, giving Kendrick good, tough 5 rounds. I've seen him against Bobby in shape. You know, if he's in shape this weekend, I think he could potentially beat the kid that he's fighting.
Who's he fighting?
He's fighting Dooms. Dooms is his last name. I'll tell you exactly right now who he's fighting.
Felix Pereira is going this week too.
Oh, that kid's nasty.
Oh,
But that's a Louis Rosa fighter. You know, if you're fighting anyone from Louis Rosa's gym, you're in for a very long night.
Yeah.
Oh, he's fighting Laurent Humes. That's who he's fighting. This guy. But I just think like I said, I've looked at the record. I've looked at if Zapata comes in shape.
Yeah, Zapata, that's his name.
That kid could get beat. That kid could get beat.
He throws bombs.
Yeah. Matter of fact, when you were early in your pro career,
Mike, turn that down.
When you were early in your pro career, Dad,
were
you familiar with the Whitleys at the same time, Nick, or were they older?
Oh no, we grew up in the amateurs. We grew up in the pros. Actually, I was sparring with one of the Whitleys when I was getting ready to defend one of my titles, and I popped my right thumb tendon. I had surgery, so I was fighting Thomas Damgaard from Denmark. That's that's what postponed that fight. And then when I was gonna fight him again when we scheduled it, he got hurt in that fight, and that's why in the short notice they got Louis Collazo in that fight. I was supposed to fight him at the DCU, but I was sparring with the not the dad, the uncle. Both of them are tough fighters. You know what I'm saying?
Well done.
Big guys.
Yeah.
Fighting family. They're a fighting family.
So
a couple people been.
Oh God, AJ. I was gonna say, speaking of the family
ahead.
business, when's the next show? What's the
so
next?
Right now I'm finalizing. Right now I'm just finalizing. I'm waiting. Probably if I hear tomorrow or tomorrow Friday, I'm just waiting to receive the bond that I need, because when you renew your promoter's license, you need to get a bond, and then when you get the bond, you send in your application and everything goes through. So once I have the promoter's license in hand, then I can start booking dates and venues and stuff like that. So that's why I'm just trying to stay away from all that once I get that first stuff like that. I was working on some other stuff first. That didn't pan out. So I'm just not going to wait on that anymore. Just going to go out and things on my own.
There you go. Love it. I'm going to need a new banner, so count me in for another one when we get
asking. A lot of people asking when they're ready to go, when we're ready to go.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming soon. We should know soon.
What are your thoughts? Just because this got brought up on Monday, I shut it down, but I want to hear your thoughts. What are your thoughts on Wilfredo Marrero 3?
Nah, that's done. Not done. And the only reason is because of the brawl and the aftermath.
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah,
I said the same thing.
That ruined a good show, and we don't want to deal with
Because
it.
it would have been a great third fight. That would have sold a lot of tickets.
Absolutely.
We would have had to step it up to an 8-rounder.
Yeah, an 8-rounder, and probably a bigger venue too.
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't know. I saw what I needed to see. I think that last one. I saw, like I said on the other podcast. It's not breaking news, but I saw Carlos kind of get defeated early. Like I said in that video, I was zooming in after every round. He just, it wasn't the same demeanor.
Wilfredo was definitely getting stronger. Wilfredo, it was weird. It was like instead of fizzling out, kind of like in the first round, in the first fight where they were both exhausted, you could see they were both dead tired.
Right.
In the second fight, it actually looked like Wilfredo was picking it up. Like the way he was attack mode, even in the last round, he was getting stronger.
Let me let you in a little secret. Wilfredo is 41 years old, right? And you saw him getting stronger in the fight. That's because I put him on USANA.
There it is. It was coming. I knew it was coming. Man,
We
if it's
mentioned
for
that.
old
We
dudes,
mentioned that on Monday.
I'm
Oh,
gonna have
did
to
you?
check it out. If it's to old dudes, I'm in, man. Because all these
No,
people,
listen.
Jose,
No,
they
listen.
did this 40
I
on the
learned.
40 list.
Listen, I learned about USANA 16 years ago. And let me tell you, I learned about it late in my career. And what it did for me late in my career had me training and performing better than early in my career. Different. It's just a different animal. You know what I'm saying? When you feed your cell, when you feed your cells at a cellular level, when your nutrition at a cellular level, your body performance is night and day. But not just performing wise, because when you obviously give nutrition, you give it input, you're gonna get the output. But health wise, it's a different animal. USANA is an amazing company, and that's why I've been a part of it for 16 years. You know, and before I even joined USANA, I flew to Salt Lake City, Utah, toured their manufacturing facility. I needed to see for myself. You know, there was not no makeshift. You know, and I was just blown away. Phenomenal company.
I did see Wilfredo shout it out too. He gave him credit. He did get.
Yeah, he said he got to talk to you again. I was hesitant on Monday when we were talking about it. I was like, damn, we can't let people know about the secret. This is the secret stuff. Only RPE fighters get access to this stuff.
It's no longer a secret. I don't know if you've been noticing with the Olympics and stuff like that going on.
That's right.
You know,
I seen that earlier.
They're out, man. They're out, and they're celebrating their 30th year this year. Yeah,
that's phenomenal. So we got to give a shout one time for the Colonels, Jose.
Absolutely. Class of 91 right here. Class of 91.
I'm 98. I mean, we're old dudes, man. But
Mr. Vogt. Mr.
Vogt. Hey, I went to Worcester Tech 1 year too, as well, my junior year. And then my senior year I transferred to South.
Nothing wrong with that. We got North tomorrow going for a big game too. They're going tomorrow. But the Lady Colonels.
I always support all the local teams, but when they play each other, I gotta go with my alma mater. So I gotta go with South High. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right.
It also helps that his daughter plays for South. You know,
for the state all-star, right? She made
she's a beast.
All-star. She just came back.
Beast.
She just came back from Arizona this past weekend. They invited her up for a tournament. They were looking for a striker, and so they were able to recruit her up there in Arizona. She helped them. They ended up in second place when they played for the championship. So she was great performance. She played 6 games in the whole weekend. That's how crazy it was. Yeah.
I'm gonna show you a video, Mike. So when I was younger, me and my dad, either in the basement or the garage, we used to do mitts all the time. You know, my sister, just admiring the big brother, you know, always wanted to be around dad, used to just watch us. Never put on a pair of gloves in her life. Never put on a pair of gloves in her life. Watched me and my dad do a mitt session. When I was done, wanted to try it. She was probably like, let's see. So this 2015. How old was Sully in 2015? Like 9?
11. No, 9.
11? 9.
9.
She was 9. The first time my sister ever put on gloves.
She could have
put on a pair of boxing gloves.
She could have been a natural.
That is awesome.
Beast, like anything she's ever touched. Like I remember one time, she did a triathlon.
For me, it was when I found out. Yep, when she did the triathlon.
Never did.
That was crazy.
For it. This was like, hey, I just want to do it. I just want to do it to do it.
That's when I was like, yep, she's on
first
that
place
USANA.
out of all the girls, third place total. First place out of all the girls, third place total. Has never trained for this a day in her life. She was just like, hey, I want to try this thing. Threw in a triathlon, first place out of all the girls, third place total. That means only 2 boys were ahead of her.
Wow.
Incredible.
Beast, animal. I'm
And
not
that's a
gonna lie. I
triathlete.
mean, I'm an old man now. I gained some weight. I got a bum knee. She tried to, tell me she was faster than me. I had to race her one time, and I'm not gonna lie. I had to go all out. I couldn't let my sister beat me in a race. The only way I was gonna win is if I went all out. I went all out, and I beat her by like that much.
I'll tell you, AJ. We're gonna get you on this Usana again. We're gonna get you back in there. The
Oh,
man.
He keeps. You know what?
Still trying to bring him
who
into
I
the
want to take
fight.
advantage of. I want to take advantage of now because he's got a bum leg. My pro debut opponent will be Rashad Minor. There you go. He's got a bum leg. He's
Oh
on
my
crutches
God.
right now. He's on
AJ,
crutches
you
right
don't
now.
want no
Get my
smoke
uncle-
with Rashad Minor. I'll tell you
Stop
that
it.
much.
Wait,
Listen,
Get my
Rashad,
uncle.
You better
get my
stop
uncle
it
in
right
the-
now.
Put me my pro debut. He got to win the
Rashad,
crutches, though.
Rashad will spank you on his knees.
so you
Hey, speaking of, I don't know if Bobby remembers this. I'm gonna tell a funny story. So me and Bobby, similar to his dad and my dad, inseparable. Like, I mean, this kid is blood's not making us any closer. This is my brother for life. We did everything together, ate together, went on dates together, trained together. Like, so we're at the gym ahead of time. We're training. We're actually wrapping our hands. All of a sudden, and I mean, if you spend enough time with his dad, you know his dad's demeanor. All of a sudden, his dad swings open the gym door, and he looks at us, and he was like, "Get ready," and he just keeps walking. He walks to the back of camp, get right. So me and Bobby are looking at each other like, "What is this dude talking about?" Like, what? Get ready? What? We are getting ready. We're wrapping our hands and stuff. He comes back around the corner with a headgear that don't even fit him. It's like comes up to like here on him. He comes back around the corner with a headgear on and decides that today's the day that me and Bobby are getting in the ring with him. And when I tell you, see me, I don't know how Bobby felt. Me, I was confident at the time because I'm like, this old, slow, robotic dude is not about to fuck with me. Like, are you serious? At the time, I'm a little older. I'm 3 years exactly. My birthday, I'm June 93. Bobby's June 96. So I'm like 3 years exactly than him. So I was probably like 15, 16 at the time. I'm like, I'm about to dance circles and jab this dude to death. Man, the first time I tried to step in on his dad and actually engage, this dude said, the stiffest, strongest to this day, the stiffest, strongest, and surprisingly sharp. Like, I mean, this dude is robotic as hell. He has no athletic bone left in his body. And the fact that he threw this jab, I didn't see it coming. And I felt like he punched this part of my brain to this part of my brain. I stopped. Like, no, I stopped and I looked at him. I was like, oh, he means business. Like, holy shit. He just cranked me with a jab. So then I'm like, all right, now I'm thinking. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. I'm just trying to slip, whatever. And that's all he's doing. He's not even throwing any right hands. He's just jab after jab. So then finally, and I'm talking about, I mean, he's like 6'4". No matter where I am in the ring, this dude is reaching me. Somehow he's still reaching me. My head's cut. I'm thinking, boom. I'm thinking, boom. I'm like, all right. So now you got Rashad, Kendrick, and Fitzy on the outside of the ring just instigating. Get him, AJ. Come on. He can't fuck with you. Get him. I got so pissed. One of the jabs that he threw, I grabbed his arm like this. I wrapped it. So his jab arm is stuck right here. And I jumped up. And I started throwing punches like this. Hey. He goes, time out. He stopped. He made them stop the buzzer. And everything. He goes, you do that shit again, I'm gonna kick your ass.
I was scared for AJ.
No more.
He stopped the whole.
I was big scared for AJ.
He stopped the whole sparring. He made them stop the buzzer and everything. And he goes, you do that shit again, I'm gonna kick your ass.
Yeah. When my dad gets upset, there's nothing stopping the guy. He's a real emotional guy. So he felt kind of disrespected by a little backhand AJ was trying to give him. He was trying to let him know, look, even though we got the gloves on, little boy.
Oh, I held that arm for dear life. Like I had that tight, and I was just like, boom. I was jumping up in the air, hitting him. He got so bad.
Listen,
They
no
should have get
matter
him to kick your ass.
I
no
got
matter
two
how
opinions.
big or
You got
no,
hard.
no matter how big or about it he looks, you don't sleep on Bobby because he let out some combination. Somebody going to sleep.
That's the truth.
Yo, to this day, like I said, there's a few like, all right, like I can
I've
actually
seen
think
him
of them
snap, like just snap
can
and throw
think of
out a
them on the top
combination.
of
It's
my head
crazy. It's muscle
of like,
memory.
I mean,
Muscle memory.
I don't even remember how many rounds, countless numbers of rounds I've sparred, but there's actually punches that to this day I can name and count on hands. Like to this day, it's still rememberable to me. Like my dad's body shot punch, the overhand right he also hit me with, Bobby's jab. The very first time I sparred with Kyrie, I knew he was faster than me. So I knew he was better. He was at a different level. So I kind of had like I have nothing to lose mentality. So I was opening up. I was being a little aggressive. And he threw a 1-2. And you know what's crazy is I blocked the jab. The 2 hit my glove a little bit, but it hit me directly. And he still shook my brain. Like that.
No, Kyrie does
1-2.
have one hitter
It was a one. It was
with
a
a
1-2.
power for
Literally,
sure.
when he landed the straight right, my brain went like that, and I was like, and you know what's crazy is, I never expected that. I just thought he was all speed. I thought Kyrie was all speed. I'm like,
No. Kyrie's a huge heavy hitter.
I didn't know
Huge
that.
heavy hitter.
I
I
had
mean,
never
even
sparred with him
even now
up to that
recently,
time.
I seen it now. I seen it when he fought a fight where he wasn't doing so good throughout the whole fight. And I forgot the dude's name. He's really well known. It was on a CES card.
Chris Chapman.
I think his name is Chris Chapman. Kyrie caught Chris Chapman with such a beautiful shot. And I remember saying, wow, like the power is for real. It's always gonna be there. Even to this day, I'm still sparring. I still spar and work with Kyrie all the time now. And I tell myself he gets me on my toes still to this day, and he's a veteran. You know, if he places the right shot in the right place, he's rocking anybody. He got that quick.
Yeah.
He's too sharp for a
I
reason.
learned that. So that's the third one. The fourth one was, I remember I had a really good sparring session with Mike Briggs. This was actually at Camp Get Right because it was a weekend. The Boys and Girls Club was closed. After the third round, so the first 2 rounds were really close. The third round, I kind of had my way with him. And his dad was, rest in peace, Uncle Mike, we call him Uncle Mike, was really hard on him. Like a really hard, strict dad with him.
He's hard on all of us.
He didn't like how that third round went for him. So he made us do a fourth. But the way he yelled at Mike in the break of the third round, Mike was pissed. I don't know if he was more pissed that he had to do an extra round with me, or he was pissed the way his dad yelled at him. But he actually ended up, the first time I ever got dropped was with a body shot. I've never been dropped in sparring. Mike dropped me with a body shot in that fourth round. I remember that to this day. Right? Like in the sternum area, I was like, boom, 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 boom. I was really tired. It was the fourth round, you know, we already had brawled it out the first 3 rounds. And he hit me with a well-placed shot right in my sternum area and dropped me to a knee. At first I didn't want to, but then when I saw that he was gonna keep coming and I didn't have any breath in me, I gotta take this knee. He's gonna jump on me. It's the first time I ever in my life had to take a knee in sparring. So those are the 4 punches that I remember. Oh, and I'll never forget, I was supposed to be working offense while Edwin Rodriguez was supposed to be only doing defense. Only doing defense. And I clipped them with a overhand right. And as soon as the punch touched him, he came back with an overhand right. My legs did a buckle and he caught me and said, my bad.
Oh,
My bad. He caught me with my leg buckle. My bad. I'm like,
that's happened to me before as well, where I've sparred with. That kind of happened to me before when I sparred with Edwin Rodriguez before. I think I was getting ready to head out to my second national, and I was sparring with him, and I remember him clipping me, and he heard the air leave my body. So once he heard the air leave my body, He put his arms underneath mine. And he said, "Though you better not go down." He told me in my ear, "Don't go down. Fight that shit. Don't go down. Fight that
I
shit."
love this dude.
And he made me stay up and finish the
I
round.
love this dude to death, but he is the ultimate asshole at sparring. Like the abuse I've seen him. I mean, he's broken guys' ribs. He's like, I don't know if it's a reflex that he has that when you clip him, he's got to clip you harder.
He just has an amazing body shot that he's always had throughout the nationals and the amateurs. He's always had that gift, that looping left hook to the body, or even the right hand. He's an amazing
right,
body snatcher.
He caught me with the overhand right, and I was like, he caught me. He's like, "Oh, my bad. I'm sorry, Anthony." That's what he called it, Anthony. He's like, "I saw Anthony." I was like, "You're supposed to hit me."
Love it, man. Well, listen, guys, this has been another good one. We got some time in there. Jose, thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike.
Anything you guys want to shout out? Bobby, AJ, I mean.
Yeah, sponsors, loved ones, trainers, whoever. Go for it.
Shout out All In Auto Body Shop in Worcester, Massachusetts. All In Auto Body Shop, Worcester, Massachusetts.
100%.
You bring your car in, we take care of all your stuff out there. Anything you got to do with a car, could be the air conditioning or wheels. We take care of it.
Has blessed my cars multiple times.
That's taking care of my car too. So obviously, I'm a second that motion.
That's cool because mine is in shambles, so I might have to look.
There you go.
Up, man.
You bring it to All In Auto Body Shop, Worcester, Massachusetts.
You go in there and tell them you're friends with the triple threat. Be like, listen, my boy is Bobby Harris III, Jose Rivera, AJ Rivera. What can you do for me?
Let's go.
Take care of you big time.
Take care of you big time.
Love it, man.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Lundgren Honda. Always been a sponsor for all of our Rivera promotion events since the very first one to the very last one. Can't forget them.
Yeah.
And shout out to Shamrock Sports for always giving us the boxing the big
I love it, man.
airtime out that venue. You know what I'm saying?
I told AJ I'm in boxing class here every week. I'm just like to throw in a few digs here. I'm gonna get AJ out of retirement eventually, and then I'll retire. So, but
I'll tell you what. You get me out of retirement. You know who suffers? These two, because these are the two that I'm gonna be bothering the most for training and sparring. So if you're getting me out of retirement, you're putting headaches on these two guys' heads.
I'm not gonna contribute to that. I would not contribute to that.
I'm not contributing either.
Love it, man.
Wait, you telling me if I beg you to spar with me and get me ready for my pro debut, you're not gonna take it back to the old time?
No. I'm not contributing to any of that stuff. You gotta remember that's back in the day. We grown men now. It ain't no funny games no more. It ain't pillow fighting no more.
All I'll do is put you on my Peloton. That's it. You know what I'm saying?
Pops, you're not gonna spar with me and get me ready for my pro debut. You're supposed to be my number one sparring partner.
Not happening.
Let's
go. AJ, I got you back. I'll let you beat me up a few times.
My two sparring partners just
Mike, I heard a rumor about you in the Irish Express, Sean Fitzgerald. Is that true?
He doesn't want that smoke.
He doesn't want it.
He doesn't want that smoke.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now.
He doesn't want it.
Yo, Mike, I'm gonna tell you right now, Mike.
Mike,
I'm gonna tell you right now. Do not sleep out this Irish Express Fitzgerald.
Never.
I'm telling you right now.
Never.
Mike said
Don't make that
Mike said
mistake.
he's claiming the Irish Express name.
No, listen,
I will only go bare knuckle. I only go bare knuckle.
Only bare knuckle.
Listen. Don't make that mistake. He can still shoe shine.
Hey,
I seen him 2 weeks ago.
The real deal.
Hey, you know who I slept on? That's another one that I actually forgot to mention. This is the fifth. So I named 4 punches I'll never forget. The fifth one wasn't necessarily that it hurt me, but it was so quick that it sent me flying. Another person I slept on big time, and I begged to spar with me, was Rocky. And Carlos would say to me, "Dude, you crazy? You cannot do this." Like, Carlos was so against it. The moment, I hope Carlos doesn't have electronics, so I don't have to worry about him hearing this. The moment Carlos left the gym, and it was just me and Rocky in the gym, we sparred. I'm over here thinking like, come on, man, it is thinking like Big Bobby, you know, fatter, slower. What? Rock, I've never in my life to this day have been hit with a triple left hook. A triple left hook. Pop, pop, pop. Rocky hit me with a triple left hook. And so we couldn't spar in the ring because his knees were bad. So we had to spar on the floor, right next to where the heavy bags in the Boys and Girls Club are. He knocked me into Carlos's office.
Talking about Rocky.
Sent me flying into Carlos's office.
Rocky was looking good in the ring down in Orlando.
Yo, triple left hook. I tried to rush in on him. I was, we were going jab for jab for a while, and he's jabbing, I'm jabbing. He has a really fast jab. And then I try to rush in, and as soon as I rushed in, triple left hook. Pop, pop, pop. My momentum carried me. Right into
he's in much better shape now. He's
looking great, man. Rocky's looking great.
He's doing really good.
Talking about Rocky, I have a quick question for Jose. What was when you was a professional? What was the what's the word I'm looking for? The change or what you saw in Rocky when you had him in your corner? Like, what was the adjustment there?
So Rocky is very technical, works a lot on that European style, the ins and the changing style, with the changing of the feet and stuff like that. As soon as a fighter comes in, that distance, it's kind of like put a stop to the guy, don't even let him come in and stuff like that. Same thing with the hooks and punches. So he's like very methodical. Rocky, since he was a young kid, has always been a boxing guru, genius, and I'm not shocked and surprised at how well he's doing when he's working when he was working with Edwin, and now how well he's doing with Jermaine and stuff like that.
That Russian cat he had.
Well, yeah, he's no longer with
Andre was undefeated with him.
Yeah. Andre was from Russia, but he had to go back to Russia because of his visa issues and stuff like that.
Gonzaga.
He worked with Gonzaga too, but he helped Gonzaga more for his box. He still did MMA, but he was just helping him with his boxing style.
Gonzaga retired 1-0 as a pro boxer with Rocky in his corner. That was on a Rivera Promotions card.
Bing.
No. Having Rocky in my corner actually got me to I have to give Rocky a lot of credit for me winning my first national title. Rocky, like Jose said, he is a real guru, and I remember before Rocky coming into gym, it was just Carlos, and everything was about being rough and tough, and a lot of Michael Briggs and a lot of being strict. And when Rocky stepped in, I just loved the way how he broke down the fighting game to where things made sense on why I was doing them, because I would do things and not understand really why I moved a certain way and why I did what I did. And he really broke down on what was the purpose of doing the things I'm doing. Now I'm a lot more intelligent on why and when to be doing these things.
Yeah, I saw the change in myself. Like me and Bobby, we worked out together. We sparred when we were younger. We wrestle all the time. Did rough, tough shit. And the change in Bobby just tremendously once Rocky was the trainer. It was even myself. I experienced it for a few months when I was getting ready for my pro debut, and my dad was a conditioning guru. Condition. Like he had me in shape where I could nonstop throw for a 3-round amateur fight. Rocky, on the other hand, had me in sparring, and I have videos. I'm shoulder rolling, I'm parrying. It was a lot more the way he trains you is he's definitely a guru. There's certain guys that I feel like were average or decent or good boxers, but make Hall of Fame type coaches. They always say a guy like Freddie Roach, who couldn't become a world champion but makes world champions.
Helps makes world champion, because the fighter is what makes the world champion.
Yeah,
So
true.
the trainer helps. You know what I'm saying?
True.
100%.
But I feel like that it's like,
100%.
you know, a lot of people actually said that to me a few times because there was a few people who told me I should get into like training guys and stuff. And I noticed that in actually multiple different sports, like the Hall of Fame coaches or the greatest of all time coaches actually weren't great in the sport. Like you don't see the Michael Jordans coaching. They own teams, but he's not coaching. You know, you see the Phil Jacksons, you see the Doc Rivers, and then on the football side, you see the Bill Belichick's and the Bill Parcells. You know, those guys are not Hall of Fame football players, but they're coaching Hall of Fame players and making them who they are.
Right.
You know,
I get that.
same thing on the boxing side. Floyd Mayweather Sr. could never do what Floyd Mayweather Jr. did. Neither could Roger.
Roger was a world champion, though.
Roger was
a world champion.
Roger was a world champion, but I mean, he wasn't Floyd.
No, I know, definitely.
Well, not
Nobody
anybody's
was
Floyd. Nobody can be Floyd.
Who else was Floyd?
True. I mean, all right, but if you go on the back end, you look at like brother Nassim, R.I.P., who trained Bernard Hopkins and Shane Mosley, and you know he was never a world champion, but I mean he's got nothing but Hall of Fame, not even just world champions, Hall of Fame guys in his stable.
Georgie Benton, Ronnie Shields, Lou Duva. I mean, we can name you many trainers. Trinidad's dad. You know, just the list goes on.
Who's the best? So me and Bobby are gloating about Rocky. Who's the best trainer you ever been around?
I would say two guys that I really picked up a lot from was Tommy Parks from New Jersey. May he rest in peace as well. Jesse Reed out of California. And you know, obviously Carlos was my number one guy. You know, I mean, the guy's a boxing brain. He's old school. Carlos is a lot of old school style to him, stuff like that. But you know, he knows the game. You know, he knows when to switch the on and off button to make you, you know, just kind of step it up and just go all out and stuff like that. You know?
What I love about Carlos is that his method of, well, personally me, of training was to always teach you to, number one, believe in yourself. He always gave you that confidence and to know that, you know, I've seen him tell guys, they walk into the gym for the second time, wow, you can be a world champion. You can be a world champion. You keep fighting like that. And just the belief he installed in you is what I love the most about Carlos, and the discipline he would tell you and how to live your life. And he would tell you things on how to live your life, how to respect yourself. And it would just motivate you to just, you know, never want to disappoint that man.
You remember the girl talks he used to have with us? Like Carlos used to stress.
You stay away from no girls.
Bobby down.
I actually have an article that he says it in the article
and
about.
Like out of all the fighters that he had, specifically me and Bobby, he used to stress, don't get girlfriends, don't mess with girls. Like for some reason he goes, then he tells us stories, he goes, someone like your dad take out my daughter and we go on a fishing trip.
We go for a drive, never come
again.
back. He used to tell us stuff like that. He said, listen, we'll go for a drive and I come back by myself. You'll never see him again.
Carlos is so old school. He told me to block a jab with the top of my head one time. I said, what? I said, what? He goes, just let him hit you here. I'm like, what? You want me to block the jab with the top of my head? Yeah, he's gonna break his wrist.
Yeah. Talking about coaches, I want to share an experience I had with one of them. Besides Carlos and Rocky, who's trained me, one of the guys who trained me out in Colorado Training Center was Shakur Stevenson's grandfather, Wally Moses. He's a fantastic trainer, an amazing trainer. Just his smoothness, his calmness, and he really sticks to the basics of boxing. And I feel like a lot of fighters shy away from the basics. And I just love how he explains the basics of boxing and how really boxing is one with the basics and not being too much extra or not too little. Wally Moses is a great trainer as well. And I'm excited for the Shakur Stevenson and Valdez
That's
fight.
a-
That's going to be an amazing
That's a
fight.
phenomenal. Those type of fights is what boxing needs again to get boxing. That's a phenomenal. A lot of people may only know who Shakur is, or a lot of people may only know who Valdez is. But I'm gonna tell you right now, those are two elite fighters. Those are not just regular champions. That's an elite.
And I respect
versus an
Shakur
elite.
big time for taking a fight
Valdez
like
is
that.
elite
It's
and
an
Shakur is
amazing
elite.
fight.
Both those fighters are elite as they come. Like the only ones who will beat them at their division are each other. Like that elite. Like De La Hoya Mosley kind of thing. Like that's what Shakur and Valdez is at that division. So I respect that fight 100%. 100%. Oh, I think his phone died.
We're gonna have to do a part 2 to this one because there's a lot to talk about. But we don't want to take Mike's time. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike.
Listen, next Wednesday we're open again. The door is always open here. You know what I'm
Sounds
saying?
Yeah,
good.
come on. This is
Sounds
my
good.
Wednesday routine now, Pops.
Love
9
it.
o'clock. We can do it next Wednesday, 9 o'clock, part 2.
Absolutely. Log it in.
So I've been running out of guys. I've had Richie on, I've had Omar on, I had both Whitley brothers on. I've had Bobby on a couple times. You know, who we thinking next?
Rhinell Griffin. I'm gonna have him on next week. I'm gonna ask him what's gonna be different about this fight than the next one. No, I mean, there's a bunch of James Toney. I'm gonna get on this show. I'm not stopping.
You know what would be a phenomenal one, just because they've had experiences with each other, and I think it'd be hilarious with his personality. If we got Boo Boo on when my dad was on as well.
It's coming. It's coming soon.
I think that'd be a phenomenal one. Because I actually, believe it or not, so when my dad was getting ready for world championship fights, Boo Boo was getting ready for the Olympics. So Boo Boo was 16, 17-year-old kid training with my dad, sparring. So they got some stories together. Boo Boo will help me and attest to this child abuse that we talked about.
I love it. There's witnesses, Jose. Man. Nah, but,
He will attest.
Listen,
He will confirm.
Listen, it was that sparring session that we had that I told them way before. I said, this kid's gonna be a world champion. You know,
He's
so
like 16.
I speak it. He was 17 years old, 18 years old, and I just speak it into existence because you can tell how a fighter fights, how he responds, just the level, and although he was in the Olympic trials, going for the Olympics, he was fighting at a phenomenal level, and I said, man, it's rare. You don't see amateur. He was like and that's why he's going to the Olympics. It's just an amateur talent above everybody else,
He's undefeated. I don't know. I'm going on that press
Undefeated
conference alone.
and a world champion at 54, 60, and 68. So, I mean, I feel so bad for the guy. What more does the guy got to do to get the fight? I'm signing with the same promoter. I'm signing with the same TV network as you. Every weight class you're going to, we started at 54 together. I'm calling you out. We went to 60. I'm calling you out. We're going to 68.
No, isn't he moving up to 68?
I'm gonna confirm right now. I'm almost positive he already has made that move.
He gave up his belts, didn't he?
I know he's a world champion at 54 and 60, and I thought he was just moving up to 68.
No, he hasn't moved to 68 yet.
Right.
So he's got 54 and 60, but he's won 2 belts at 60, I believe.
Yes, that's true.
Three-time world champion.
Yeah, that is true. He has repeated at champion at middleweight.
And then the one big fight he was gonna get, Billy Joe Saunders test positive. So poor kid, man, can't get a break. And now he's like, I feel like as much as we talk him up, we're never gonna get to, like, the public will never get to see what we already have known for years. Because now he's in his 30s, and boxing's, you're only at your best in this window. He's still great enough to beat a lot of guys, but is he the Boo Boo of 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago? Probably not. There's a lot of boxing shelf life is not long. So you say, we're not even getting the best version of him anymore. Because guys avoided him for so long. It's like Floyd taking 7.5 years to fight Pacquiao. That wasn't the best version of Pacquiao.
Right.
Same thing.
Yep. Yep.
All right, fellas.
All right,
It was a
fellas.
pleasure. Thank you very much.
It's been great.
Have a great
We'll be
night.
back here next week at 9 o'clock. And
All right.
who knows? You never know on this show, AJ. I'm bringing your opponent next week. Be ready.
I think Messy Midway is becoming a trend.
I love it. I absolutely love it, man. Another
Midway
great
through
one
the show, we
tonight.
get messy. We've had some
Yeah.
call outs. We've had what was the major call out on one of the
Fly
other
Mike
ones?
and Donnie Palmer.
Oh yeah.
Fly Mike straight up called him a bitch, and he didn't. He had the chance to respond, and he didn't. So I don't know. He's too caught up in Congress now. He won his fight
I'm gonna
last week.
get my dad to get out of character on one of these shows and just call someone a bitch and be like, yo, let's fight right now.
Yes, let's do it.
You never
Fun
know.
in.
Maybe another promoter. You never know. We could do promoter versus promoter. Winner gets all your fighters.
Yeah, you
All
can
right.
play Chuck. You get Chuck next.
Chuck.
Hey, Chuck got hands.
leave my boy Chuck alone.
Bobby's
Take care,
back in.
guys.
We'll see you guys.
All
You
right.
got anything left you want to shout out, Bobby?
Follow me on Instagram, Bobby Harris the third, THE3rd. Stay posted.
We love
Stay
it.
posted, stay tuned. Maybe a New England title soon.
Love it. All right, guys. Till
Peace.
next week.
Peace.